Hello, welcome to the Podcast Podcast, where each week we come and we answer your questions about personal injury cases. I'm your host, Rusty Messer with Big River Trial Attorneys in Baton Rouge. Our co-host today is Maria, our client support specialist. Maria, what question are we answering today?
What is the no pay, no play law?
So the Louisiana no pay, no play law, it basically says that if you were in an accident or in a car crash that was not your fault, but you did not have at least state minimum liability insurance coverage. So that's 15,000 of bodily injury and 25,000 of property. If you were not carrying that, then you cannot make a claim for the first 15,000 of your bodily injury or 25,000 of your property damage against that other driver, right? So if you get in a crash, traditionally, it's not your fault. You're really hoping this other driver is going to pay. But it's not always the case due to those limitations. So that would mean if you did not have insurance and you got in that crash, the first $15,000 of your medical bills, of your pain and suffering, the first $25,000 of getting your car fixed, any damage to your vehicle is not going to be covered. Now, as we're covering this, as we're filming this right now, the Louisiana legislature is trying to raise that limit to $100,000 limitation, where you couldn't recover for the first 100,000. The theory behind no pay, no play laws is that it's going to encourage people to go buy liability insurance so that there will be less uninsured people on the road, and it's a fantastic theory. It doesn't really work in practicality. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And of course, we don't know if the legislature is going to be successful, but if they do, that would be a significant limitation to the rights of people in Louisiana to recover. There are some exceptions to the Louisiana no pay, no play law that you need to know about. One, if you were legally parked at the time of the crash. So if you're sitting in a parked car, you don't have insurance, but you're parked, you're not going anywhere, you can still recover regardless of the fact that you didn't have insurance. If the other driver who hit you was intoxicated, either drinking, drugs, something like that, you can still make your claim against that driver's insurance. If the other driver was breaking certain laws, if the other driver intentionally caused the crash, maybe it was like a road rage accident, or if the other driver fled the scene, or if the other driver was committing a felony, then you still get to bring your claim even if you did not have state minimum coverage. Uh, the other exception to know about is if you were a passenger. So if you are sitting in a car and the driver of your car does not have auto insurance and y'all get into a wreck, not the driver of your car's fault, right? It's the fault of a third party. The driver cannot bring a claim against that third party, but you still can. You are not prohibited by the Louisiana no pay, no play law.
Are there any other times when the no pay, no play law would not apply?
There was one other exception that was less common now, but we used to see it more often. If you are from a state that does not require you to carry liability insurance on your car, then you are not required to carry it while you're traveling through Louisiana. So you would not be prohibited. Most states require you to carry liability insurance. So we don't see this as often anymore. Where we are starting to see some crazy things is that recently Florida changed their laws to where people don't have to carry bodily injury coverage. So it's not clear whether if somebody complies with Florida law and doesn't carry bodily injury coverage, if they are excluded under Louisiana law or not.
Are there times when it is still worth it to bring a claim?
There definitely can be, and I've actually handled a few of these cases. So if your injuries are serious enough and there's enough insurance available. So, under the current law, let's say you are injured in an accident, you don't have car insurance, the person that hit you uh, has $100,000 of coverage available, and your injuries are pretty serious. Let's say your injuries are $100,000 worth of injuries. You can still recover, but you're only going to get 85,000. You don't get to recover for that first 15,000. So it's a matter of your injuries being serious enough to exceed that $15,000 limitation, and the other person having enough insurance to pay for that. Uh, Under the proposed law, the claim would have to be much more serious. If they do raise the limitation to 100,000, now it's only going to pop up in situations where maybe like there was a commercial motor vehicle involved, where you have maybe like $1 million policy, and you have very life-altering injury, so that the damages exceed that limitation amount, so that it's worth making that claim. Uh, don't know if this is going to pass, but Louisiana is consistently trying to limit the rights of people in Louisiana to recover. So there's a good chance that it is going to pass. And, after August, the no pay, no play law that I'm talking about today will not be the one in effect then.
Do any other states have a similar laws?
Uh, so I believe 9 other states have similar no pay, no play laws. I think it's Alaska, California, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Missouri, New Jersey, and North Dakota. I think Oklahoma used to have one, but it was recently found unconstitutional by their state Supreme Court. The Louisiana State Supreme Court has found that it is constitutional, so ours is probably not going away. And I'm going from memory on those 9 states, so that may not be a complete list. And not all of them bar a full recovery. So in some of those other states, you can still recover for your property damage, but you can't recover for your pain and suffering or for your medical bills. Some of the other states don't allow you to recover for those non-economic damages like pain and suffering. Interestingly, what we see is that states with no pay, no play laws really don't have any lower rates of uninsured motorists on the road. Louisiana has about 14% of its drivers with no insurance. So you can figure if you're driving around, that's about 1 in 7 people who don't have auto insurance. But if you look at a state like Tennessee, Tennessee has 21% of its residents with no insurance. New Mexico has 25% of its residents with no insurance. Neither of those states have no pay, no play laws. It's not really clear if a no pay, no play law really lowers the rates of uninsured motorists on the road. Louisiana has about 14% of its drivers with no insurance. Uh, Now, if you compare that to Tennessee, Tennessee has 21% of its drivers with no insurance, and it does not have a no pay, no play law. But if you look at a state like Wyoming, Wyoming also does not have a no pay, no play law, and it's got about 6% of its drivers that don't carry insurance. So there's really not good evidence that a no pay, no play law alone actually reduces the rates of uninsured motorists. All right. That was a fantastic question. One of those things that's not entirely unique to Louisiana, but it is kind of unique. There's just not that many states that have it. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who tuned in today. The replay of today's podcast is going to be available on our YouTube channel, on Spotify, or wherever you enjoy your podcast. If you have a particular question that you would like answered, or if you have a case that you would like to discuss, please email us at info@bigriverlaw.com. I'm your host, Rusty Messer. Thank you again for tuning in.